Daily Logic Check.
Welcome to the Physicians episode of Daily Logic Check. I'm Elizabeth Vargas, your host, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. I'm very excited about this episode. We have world-renowned physician, Dr. Barke from Orange County, California.
Elizabeth, great to be with you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so thrilled that you agreed to come on the podcast. I have such admiration for your work and who you are and what you believe in that I'm just excited for my listeners to really, I value others' opinions and you have quite the opinion.
Well, thank you.
So when did we meet? We met through Steel Platt, right?
We did. I think Steel Platt introduced us and you came over to my office shortly after that.
Yeah. And because Steel was like, I was looking for a doctor, Andrew, and a local physician in the area. And all my friends were like, I really highly recommend Dr. Barke. And he's a boutique physician and who really just, I think that when they say boutique, what does that entail?
Well, listen, everybody has their own opinion. It's concierge is what I like to say.
Concierge, okay.
And the idea is in primary care, a typical primary care physician will maintain a practice base of around 3,000 patients. We limit our doctors to no more than about 400 patients. So about 10% of what normal is as far as a full practice goes. And the idea is so we can spend as much time as necessary taking care of you, catering after your needs, and not catering to the masses.
Great.
And so I think it's important that you have a relationship with a doctor that you trust, that has the time to be responsive to your needs, whether it's a same-day appointment, a text, a phone call, or what have you, that we're there to serve you.
Well, you're always available. Your office always answers. If I have any questions, they have answers. If I need anything, I remember I was going through some stress in my life and I needed some help and I didn't really know who to call and I thought, wait a minute, shouldn't I call my doctor about this? And you came over and you were right there. To just guide me through what I needed to do for my mini nervous breakdown during that situation.
Well, listen, it's an honor to be a small part of your journey, and I appreciate that you trust in the care that we provide.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So where are you from originally?
Originally born and raised in Southern California.
Oh, you're native?
Yep, I grew up out in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
I then moved south and went to college at USC, then further south and went to medical school at UC Irvine, and then stayed behind the orange curtain.
Wow, that's amazing. Andrew, is your daughter going to go to school down here or no?
She'll probably want to go to college down here. I live up by Seattle,
Yep.
and this is just so much nicer weather than I have all the time.
Absolutely.
So,
Listen, we pay the California price for living here, but there is a lot to love about living in Southern
Orange
California.
County, I love Orange County.
For sure, absolutely.
Well, and do you find that so you're an Orange County physician and you cater to the rich and famous in Orange County. I did not know this when I looked at everything that I did some research, but I didn't really research you on Instagram or any of your social profile, and found out later through a lot of significantly some people in Orange County that you are really the doctor to the rich and famous. So I felt very blessed that you chose me as your little,
When you only have
patient.
400 patients or whatever, she's happy.
Yeah,
she's
Right. Well,
feel very blessed.
Listen, while it's true that the majority of our patients are affluent, we also believe strongly in giving back to the community.
Yeah.
So a percentage of our patients are on scholarship.
Really?
Yep.
That's great.
Those are patients that can't afford our services.
That's what I was going to ask you.
But we still want to take care of them.
Yeah.
So we try to maintain about 10% of our patients that are on either a reduced fee or scholarship to be part of our group.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. That's the thing is Orange County is very, very expensive to live in.
It is.
If you want care, more personable care, I know it myself, I take my health seriously, and I don't think every doctor that I had met understood how serious I want to take my health until I met you. And you have different types of physicians in your office, and you have different people that really, they're very intuitive, they know your body. You even had a woman in there that knew how to train you if you have torn muscles. I mean, you've got the whole gamut there.
We do. We have 2 full-time personal trainers and a gym within our office.
Yeah.
And so
Wellness.
And we try to look at the big picture. The problem with most primary care doctors is they work for some healthcare institution. Their paycheck is not from the patient. Their paycheck is from a healthcare institution. And as a result, they have a built-in conflict of interest. I don't get a paycheck from an institution. I get a paycheck directly from patients that pay for their membership. So my interest is in serving the patient and doing whatever is in their best interest. So that may be referring them outside of their network, outside of Orange County, but I try to look at each individual patient and do what's best for them, not what's best for the institution. The problem with primary care, and for that matter, healthcare in general, is 100 years ago, a small percentage of physicians worked for large healthcare institutions. Now, a small percentage of physicians are independent, and most doctors work for some large healthcare institution. As a result, they don't get a paycheck from the patient, they get a paycheck from the institution.
Got it.
And so as a result, they can have a conflict of interest. In my situation, we get a paycheck directly from the patient. They pay a membership fee. So it is in our best interest to look after what is best for the patient, not what's best for the institution.
Do you have that in Washington State where you live?
I'm assuming, but I don't. I just have the standard health insurance and standard corporation style of health around where I live. At least that's what I use. And so you're saying is they're just trying to make the corporation happy, not the patient happy.
Correct.
Because they don't care about the patient, they care about the corporation.
Is that pharmaceuticals as well?
Often pharmaceuticals as well. Many physicians get
my gosh.
incentivized by big pharma to prescribe drugs and so forth.
Like
And
antidepressants or Adderall, whatever
everything.
they think,
All
right?
of-
Every time
the
I ever go
above.
to the doctor, they try to give me medicine. I'm like, what can I do to not, I just want to get better, but I don't want to take anything. What's the physical therapy? Do I eat different? Do I run? I don't want to take medicine just to make it go away. I want to make it go away forever. So
Unfortunately, the allopathic medical model that I was trained under many years ago is a disease model of medicine. That is, we don't have a disease or an illness or a condition where there isn't a pharma solution to it. I've had to unlearn much of what I've learned in medical school. My goal is to get patients off medication, not on medication, and to work with them in a holistic way to get them to heal themselves so they can master their own health, be their own best doctor, so we can keep them out of the hospitals and ultimately keep them out of doctors' offices.
Yeah,
that's my goal.
I don't want to go. I have no desire to go there. So if they can give me the advice to not visit them is amazing.
Absolutely.
Well, didn't our mom? She got COVID during COVID and the whole terrible situation. And what happened? This is terrible. This situation.
So we go in there.
happened.
She never got the shortness of breath, but she was super low energy. Like didn't even feel like getting out of bed.
She never goes to the doctor.
So
ever.
we ended up going to the local clinic, and we go in there, and the first thing the doctor said was, "Oh, you didn't take the vaccine? Well, good luck."
Mm-hmm.
His exact words. He's like, "Well, you're." What did he say? His exact words were, "You're circling the drain," and then just sent her home. Nothing, no advice, no nothing. Just, "Whoa, you didn't take the vaccine?
Couldn't believe
Go
it.
home. That's your fault."
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And unfortunately, informed consent has gone out the window. So we are supposed to, whether it's a vaccine or a medical procedure or a medication that we're going to prescribe, we're supposed to give you informed consent. What are the benefits? What are the risks? What are the side effects? What are the alternatives? And as it relates to a vaccine, what does the package insert in the vaccine actually say? What are the ingredients in the product? What are the documented side effects of the product, et cetera? Nobody gets that anymore. So I'm often accused of being anti-vax. I am not anti-vax. I am pro-informed consent. And typically,
Pro-informed consent. That's
informed
great.
consent. And typically, after somebody reads the package insert, the FDA-approved package insert, not the Barke package insert, they'll look at this, they'll see ingredients like aluminum, which is a neurotoxin that's put in many of the vaccines as an adjuvant, a chemical that stimulates the immune system to see whatever is in the vaccine and react to it. They'll see things like polysorbate 80 as a preservative, which if you look it up, don't believe me, Google this.
No, I heard about it.
Can lead to cancer, it can cause gut dysbiosis, et cetera. So there are ingredients in these vaccines that I would never want put in my body. So you simply have to look at what are the potential benefits of the vaccination, what are the downside of the vaccination, what are the ingredients, what are the studies that brought this product to market, and then make an informed decision. I'm not here to tell anybody to get or not get vaccinated. I just want to educate them about what's in the product and what they should know.
What are you putting in your body?
Yeah.
No one told me. So,
Right.
I was working for Bravo, and we got tested for COVID the whole time. Sorry, we got on the COVID conversation right away. I was trying to say that our mom never takes medicine, and she went to the doctor, and he's like, well, if you didn't take the medicine, then screw you. I couldn't believe when he did that to our mom. Like, it hit home.
I was
like,
actually in the room, so I was just like, Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I was just like, it was shocking that literally the guy just said, "Oh, you didn't take the vaccine. I don't care about you anymore."
It was. We were like, what? Like our mom. Like, and you know, you hear about these stories from afar. When it hits your family, you're like, our mom thought she was going to die, and the guy was like, "Fuck yourself."
I mean, I know physicians that refuse to treat patients that were unvaccinated for COVID, and it's just ridiculous. Where's the Hippocratic Oath of taking care of patients? If somebody were an alcoholic and they got into an accident, would you refuse to take care of them because what they did was wrong? No, of course not. But there are hospitals that push patients to get COVID vaccines. They push protocols that are ineffective and harmful, and it's just simply not the right way to go. I've never seen before. I mean, think about this. Let's talk about the COVID vaccine for a minute. We have never in the history of mankind asked our body to produce a non-human protein from a vaccine. The COVID vaccine, messenger RNA, tells the protein machinery of our body to produce a non-human protein. That's the spike protein.
Wait, is that what's causing all the blood clots?
That's what's causing all the inflammation and the blood clots, the heart inflammation, et cetera. We've
heart
never done
attacks?
this before. You know, it sort of
Wow.
reminds me, it's not like this, but it sort of reminds me, remember that Jeff Goldblum movie, The Fly?
Yeah.
Where he goes
Oh,
through
yeah.
this transporter with a fly, and then he slowly turns into a fly. No, okay, that's not actually what's happening here, but we've asked the body to produce a
We're
spike protein.
manipulating our DNA.
We are manipulating our body's DNA, and unfortunately, we're seeing the consequences.
What?
Yet today, Elizabeth, if you looked at the CDC website, it would continue to recommend a COVID vaccine for a
got
6-month-old
chills.
baby.
And that's just crazy.
I mean, never mind that kids simply are not at risk of COVID. And again, don't believe me. Google this. COVID deaths by age, and you'll see the number of COVID deaths less than 18 years old is something like 1,500 over the entirety of the COVID pandemic.
But do you think that's because they haven't made their money back from spending the money to make the vaccine? They're just trying to get their nut? They're trying to figure out, like, how do we recoup all this money we spent?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. The CDC, where do they get their funding from? Well, about 50% of it comes from industry, from the vaccine, from the pharma industry that they're supposed to be overseeing.
Directly, correct?
Directly. Same thing with the FDA.
What?
The Food and Drug Administration.
Oh my God, I'm like scared right
that
now.
authorizes these vaccines gets about 50%. Again, please look this up. Don't believe anything I'm saying. Simple
Oh
Google
no, I
will
have a
give you
very
this
smart
answer.
audience. They're going to be Googling all of it.
50% of the
Yeah.
funding of the FDA comes directly from industry through industry.
Oh my God, this is giving me like
through fees from the vaccine and the drug companies in order for the FDA to review their application. It never used to be that way. The FDA is supposed to work for the American people, not for the industry. We need to defund these organizations from industry dollars and put them back under funding strictly from taxpayer money. The other problem with these industries, these three-letter agencies rather, is that they're not overseen by elected politicians. They're overseen by the bureaucratic state, by unelected bureaucrats that run these agencies. We need to stop that as well. The FDA, the CDC.
How does that happen? How does this happen? How do we get down this rabbit hole so far that we're just blinded to all this corruption?
I don't know.
How is this possible?
It's happened slowly and
It's like creeped in all of a sudden, bam, COVID.
That's right.
You're like wearing masks that, if you fart, you can smell through it. So why are we having to mandate masks? Well, someone somewhere high up invested in a mask company, and they're like, shit, I got to get my money back. So you all wear masks.
That's right. It's fear-based to control
It's
us.
a fear-based, I agree with you. Because the fact that I would wake up fearful that I was going to be locked in my house, I couldn't believe that.
Well,
like,
we've
if
never
I
done
didn't
that.
take the vaccine, I was like, but it's my body. I thought it was my choice, my body, my choice. Why is it all of a sudden it's my body, the government's body, and it's our choice, and you're going to listen to it or you're going to be locked in your house?
Yeah,
I was
absolutely.
like, oh my God. I had so much anxiety over COVID because I didn't want to, I've always prided myself on not putting poison in my body. Then they wanted me to put poison in, and I'm like, I'm still to this day ashamed I didn't take the vaccine, but then I'm happy I didn't.
Well, listen, I'm not ashamed. I'm proudly
No,
unvaccinated.
I'm proud now, but I didn't. People told you you need to take it because I worked for a company at the time that was very, you can't work unless you get this shot, and I got, I didn't get the shot, and Anyway, I didn't work for the company anymore, but it didn't matter. I just, the situation was the guilt of, if you don't listen to us, you're a loser. You're an idiot. You're going to kill
Trying to
people.
shame people into taking
You're going to kill
experimental
people
medicine.
if you don't take this vaccine.
It's still going on.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, really.
It's not in Orange County, I don't think.
Well, listen, there are still institutions, there are still jobs, there are still universities and schools that are requiring people to get the COVID vaccine.
Right now?
Right now.
Who?
There's a friend of mine who's in medical school, and she cannot continue on with her rotations unless she's vaccinated with the COVID vaccine.
No.
Absolutely.
Why?
It's killing people.
Why? Well, when you
Even
ask
if it's
why,
not, but it's why, but it doesn't, there's no more COVID.
But there's so many
It's
different
not- it's not
vaccines
hurting
now,
people.
right? There's
No,
not
no.
just one COVID
well,
vaccine, right?
it has nothing to do with COVID too. Listen, we have proven, we have seen by evidence
this is freaky.
that the COVID vaccine not only is ineffective, but it's harmful. It not only does not stop you from getting COVID,
I've got goosebumps.
it
I don't even
doesn't
know what to
stop you
think
from
right now.
transmitting the virus either. As a matter of fact, there's evidence to suggest those that have gotten the COVID vax are more likely to get
Susceptible.
COVID, are more likely to have a bad outcome with COVID, and if they get COVID, they're more likely to transmit the virus for a variety of reasons. Listen, in my opinion, this COVID vaccine should be completely removed from the market, a thorough
They
investigation
didn't test
done.
it long enough.
No, they didn't.
They threw it out there. How are the doctors supposed to educate me as a patient on what's in the COVID vaccine when no one knows what's in the COVID vaccine?
Well, listen,
How is this possible?
I should have brought this with me. I recently purchased a box of COVID vaccines
Oh, I have one.
because I wanted to see
my
what they
safe?
looked like.
Okay.
And I opened the box of COVID vaccines. I read package inserts for a living.
Okay.
Every Friday on my Instagram, RX for Liberty on my Instagram, RX for Liberty, Friday is Informed Consent Friday. And I pull a vaccine or a drug, I read the package insert, and I explain what it means. So I
Okay.
did this with the COVID vaccine.
Okay.
I opened the box of COVID vaxes for the first time on my Instagram.
Wow.
I looked inside. There was a big, thick paper that was completely blank. There was no package insert inside the COVID vaccine box. And it says left intentionally blank. I've seen
Shut
people
up. You're joking.
I've seen people do this on social media.
So they don't get sued.
And I thought it was BS.
So they don't get sued, right?
Well, I tried to figure it out. Intentionally blank. Maybe it's so complicated that they wanted people to go online and look at it. But there's no QR code. There's no link to anything to go online. Or I thought maybe they're not required to have one because they're still under emergency use authorization. If that were the case, you would think they would write that there. No package insert because we're being used under
the
emergency
less
use
they
authorization.
tell us, the less the lawsuits are. Because right now there's a lot of lawsuits going on.
So, listen, informed consent demands that every product, including biologic agents like vaccines, contain a package insert. There is no package insert in the COVID vaccines.
I wish you would have brought it because I'm shocked.
That's kind of crazy.
That is insane.
It is crazy. I
That's
couldn't believe
crazy.
it myself. I've seen people do this, I thought, as a gag on social media, so I decided to purchase a box for myself. We don't normally carry the COVID vax in my office. So I bought a box, they come in a 10-pack, opened it up, completely blank.
Oh my God.
And what's the vaccine company's reasoning? You don't know?
Well, you can't find out. You think you can call somebody up and ask them that question? No, you can't.
Wow.
And why would they
want
put...
and they want us
They
they
have
want
this
people to
big-
put it in their body.
They have this big, thick, blank, white paper in it. And you think, hundreds of thousands of these are being made. There must be a cost to that. If it's blank, why do they even put it inside there? So it's a mystery. I don't know why they do that, but
And
there's some sort of...
you're like a world-renowned physician, and the fact that you don't know scares the shit out of me.
Well, you can go online. You can go online to the various vaccine companies and look up the package insert information, and you can
How
find
do you know
it.
that's not the same with what you're getting?
You don't know.
You don't know anything.
You simply don't
like,
know.
well, how do I know what's online is current, and that's what I'm actually putting in my body? You don't know.
But the fact that the CDC and the FDA is recommending that 6-month-olds get this COVID vaccine is criminal in my opinion. There's no reason. First of all, there's no reason for anybody to get this vaccine, let alone somebody who's younger than 18.
Daily Logic Check.
So I just read that because on TikTok and Instagram, when you start talking about something, all of a sudden it pops up.
Of course it does.
It's like, oh, by the way.
Well, yeah, so Siri is listening now to our phones.
Yeah,
and I'm
exactly,
sure later,
exactly. We're gonna get
COVID's
all this
gonna
crap.
pop up.
So it said that when a baby takes the COVID vaccine, it's as if an adult took 30 vaccines in a row or
That's
something.
about right. Yeah, that's about right. And when you look at childhood care, First of all, we have these things called well child visits, right?
Okay.
2 months, 4 months, 6 months that we bring kids in. Well, why do we do that? Because it correlates perfectly with the CDC recommendation for vaccines for children. Do you think I have some special knowledge to tell a mom at 2 months or 4 months that their kid is healthy? No. I need them to come in because I can charge them for an office visit and I can make a lot of money vaccinating those kids as well. That's why we have well child visits. Now, again, I'm not
You're
here
getting scammed.
I'm not here telling you that you should or shouldn't get your kid vaccinated. All I'm saying is you should have informed consent. You should read those package inserts. Currently in the United States, a newborn in the hospital at 2 days old is recommended to receive the hepatitis B, B like boy, vaccine. Hepatitis B is a sexually transmitted disease. What? 2-day-old needs a sexually transmitted disease vaccine?
Wait, this is mandatory where?
It's not mandatory, but it's recommended. And of course, if you're a mom who just gave birth and you're stressed and you're in pain and you think the nurses and the staff in the hospital know best, you're going to say, sure, whatever. You mean recommended? Sure. We'll give my baby whatever is recommended.
What if the babies have seizures? Remember, a lot of them have been having seizures and all sorts of crazy stuff.
They also give the baby vitamin K.
What is that?
If vitamin K is a medication to help prevent bleeding. As if God made a mistake and made babies short of vitamin K that we needed to give them in the hospital. Hepatitis B, for example, has 200 micrograms of aluminum in it, a neurotoxin. Why on God's green earth would we give a newborn baby 200 micrograms of aluminum inside a sexually transmitted disease vaccine? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Who is passing these?
The CDC, the FDA, and
Yes.
hospital
Who's on
protocols.
their board? Who?
They're supposed to be government officials, but they're not elected.
No.
This
They're
is
appointed.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is what's happening. But you know, I'll tell you, you post this video on TikTok or Facebook or whatever,
It's gonna be
taken down. It's going to be fact checked that I'm a quack, that I'm telling lies,
Really?
that I'm recommending things that are not appropriate. But I'm just
Even though you're 100% truthful.
I'm just telling the truth. Read the package
Can
insert.
we edit out the word vaccine? And then it won't. Luke, can you edit out vaccine?
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out in post.
We'll figure it out in post. We'll fix it. We're gonna fix it in post. Wow. So are you saying that these social media platforms are also, because I see a lot, people are complaining that a lot of this stuff gets taken down, but
100%.
isn't it freedom of speech in America? I mean,
Yeah.
why would they
Supposed to
take
be.
it down?
Well, with the exception maybe of Twitter or X, that rarely will ban stuff or edit stuff, but Meta, that owns Facebook and Instagram, if you're
Okay.
not careful, they will ban and they will edit and they will censor what you're saying, even today.
Yeah,
Even if you tell the
provable
truth.
fact.
That's right.
But I guess if they own the platform, they have the right to do that because they're the owners.
Isn't that the definition of misinformation? Is information that is correct, but they don't like the correct information.
That's right.
That's what
Wait, we're gonna get censored? Sweet.
But
My first censored video with Dr. Barke. Everyone in Orange County is gonna be like, yeah.
Yeah, my thing is these companies can get, or these, 3-letter places agencies get away with it because everybody just wants to keep their job in politics, and they
That's
don't want to. If they pass a law and that law creates negative effect, they lose their job. Nobody wants to lose
Andrew
their job.
believes in the paycheck.
So this is my philosophy is. So then they stopped wanting to make laws and they make regulations, and regulations are controlled by these 3-letter agencies.
Correct.
And they actually get to make the rules.
Bingo.
So they don't lose their job. So if something goes wrong, they could say, look, those people did it.
Well-
So they could still keep their job. They could be the worst politicians in the world, but they don't actually have anything that you can pin to them saying that this is what they did. So they've just been pushing everything off on people that we don't elect.
Well, let's talk about that. Talking about losing their jobs, vaccine companies are immune from all liability. So if you get a vaccine and you're injured, you have no recourse against the vaccine company. And it's no wonder that this law was passed, I think it was called the PrEP Act, back in about 1986. Shortly thereafter, the vaccine childhood schedule skyrocketed. Now a kid, before they turn 18 and enter college, will receive something like 75 separate injections.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Thank
and
God I don't have children.
And before the PrEP Act, it was something like 10. and now it's something like 72.
How many did we have, you think? I think we had about 10, right?
Yeah, we probably had about 10. My daughter, I think she's 13.
But chickenpox.
I
got chickenpox.
They have a chickenpox vaccine, and each one of those shots they give the kids have got like 7 vaccines in each shot.
Well,
right?
often MMR, measles, mumps, rubella, that I just posted this last Friday on Informed Consent Friday, is a live virus, and it was grown originally in aborted fetal cells. Yet, there is no religious exemption allowed in California to get the MMR vaccine in order to attend school. And so never mind that these, measles is not a fatal illness. And right now, we're seeing all over the news and mainstream media that there's measles outbreaks here, there, and the other. And of course, the next is going to be a push to vaccinate everybody, get everybody updated on their measles shot. So that's what's happening. And meantime, the vaccine company is completely immune from liability. I mean, if you know nothing else, then it should raise a red flag in your mind.
So their only motivation is money because they can't get in trouble.
What incentive does a vaccine company have to make damn sure that their product is safe and effective if they have no liability? Would you get behind your whatever car you drive, a Tesla, Mercedes, BMW, or whatever, if you knew that manufacturer had no liability, if there was some manufacturer error?
No.
I mean, but that's what's happening in the vaccine industry. So there's a group of
why
people.
is there such a huge push for vaccines? I don't get it. Like, we should be outside. Like when this whole thing hit, they put us inside, told us to take all this stuff. What about going outside to the beach and running and exercising and going, like, taking care of our bodies, eating healthy fruits? What happened to the natural, organic way to get healthy versus take this now?
Well, you're absolutely right, Elizabeth. Nobody ever told us that vitamin D and COVID were related, that the lower your vitamin D level was, the worse your outcome. Nobody ever told us that.
Because you're inside and everyone's getting sicker.
All they said was stay inside.
And that's the sun.
There's a famous picture of a person in Huntington Beach out on a paddleboard being arrested by the California Highway Patrol because Governor Newsom, in the middle of the pandemic, shut down Huntington Beach. And so there's some guy in the safest place on planet Earth by himself in the middle of the ocean, salt water, sunshine, and he gets arrested by the California Highway Patrol.
You are kidding
Why
me.
the CHP?
I didn't see that.
I remember that.
Because the CHP is under the control of Sacramento, under the control of the governor, as opposed to Huntington Beach Police Department that said, oh no, we're not in the business of following these COVID policies. We've got enough work to do rather than to enforce mass mandates and closing beaches and things like that. So the governor sent the California Highway Patrol to arrest this guy.
So what we should do is not say the word C, the C word. So that Luke doesn't have to edit so many out, and then we'll edit the C word.
Or call it the ouchie arm thing.
Yeah. We'll call it Pocahontas.
There you go.
Pocahontas.
Exactly.
Did you get the Pocahontas shot?
It would be kind of cool just to post it anyway.
So,
should we just see what happens?
And pharmacies followed suit. So even today, if I called Rite Aid or CVS or Walgreens or any other of the traditional branded pharmacies, they would refuse to prescribe ivermectin for the treatment of COVID. So I have to go through compounding pharmacies and
Ivermectin.
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 Ivermectin is
Joe Rogan's what they said he used a horse.
It's on the World Health Organization top 10 drugs ever invented. The person who invented that stuff won a Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
But I'm called a quack because I want to use this horse dewormer. And by the way, horse dewormer, while it's true it's used on animals, so is almost every other medication
Don't they test everything on animals first?
Just
and
about,
then we
whether
get
it's an antibiotic, amoxicillin, or naproxen, or whatever. It's all used in the veterinary field as well.
There's a lot of medicines they use for us. They could also use for animals.
Of course.
But what they said is it's a horse dewormer because that is one use for it, but that's not why it was invented.
Well, look at Viagra, dudes. Okay, all of you guys, it was a heart medicine. Now use it for your dicks. Like, come on.
Well, there you go. It was a
Ozempic, baby.
Ozempic. Okay, whatever. Hey, women have Ozempic, men have Viagra.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're both miracle drugs.
Exactly.
So wait. So they said it's not good because it's a animal.
Well, the CDC tweeted. I don't know what the CDC is doing with the Twitter account, but whatever. The CDC tweeted out something like come on, y'all, you ain't a horse. This is a horse dewormer. Stop using this drug. I mean, what is the CDC doing?
Why do they
tweeting
still
this
have a
out?
Twitter account?
Or maybe,
And that's not true. And that's
maybe it was
literally
the
a blatant
FDA.
lie.
No, it wasn't. It's a perfectly safe. It would be hard to harm somebody with
But the
ivermectin.
CDC saying that is they're basically misleading and lying about the drug that they know exactly what it's for.
100%.
So why is there a big fight on truth? Right now, I feel like there's this huge fight on, like, I'm independent, but there's Republican and Democrat. This whole red and blue thing is driving me fucking crazy because everyone's like, the Democrats are lying. They lie to get what they want, and the Republicans bully. Okay, fine. Okay, it's always been that way, but why is it that our health doesn't say red or blue? Our health says our body. This is like both sides should be fighting for our health. Like
But some people want their health to be, I don't want to do anything different, just give me a pill. And there's people like me that says, the last thing I want to do is take a pill. So there's different, everybody's different. So there has got to be more than one
Isn't
solution.
there like a common ground where we could all be like,
Oh,
okay,
no, absolutely.
look, we don't have to take this vaccine because it's our body, our choice. Why is it this administration is enforcing these freaking vaccines?
It's turning into a religion.
It's like
It is.
I just don't get it. I'm like, I've never, ever, and I'm an old lady. Coming this Friday, I turned 49 years old, and I've never had an administration tell me what to put in my body.
The common denominator should be freedom.
Besides food.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
The
freedom.
common denominator should be freedom.
I don't feel free right now.
You should be free to do whatever you want to do as long as you're not harming somebody else.
Right.
And if you want to seek out a vaccine, then have at it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
if I want to put birth control, I'm going to wear birth control. Too old, but I'm going to take birth control. If I took birth control my whole life because I didn't want to get pregnant and I liked what it did to my skin. Okay, great. Why is it that if the government told me we don't want any American women to have babies anymore, you're all have to take birth control?
Listen, we can talk about the fraud of birth control pills too, but we won't go there.
Oh, is there really?
I think there's.
Did I screw myself up? Am I going to turn into a frog later?
I no longer prescribe birth control pills, oral contraceptive pills for women.
Why?
Because I think they're more harmful than they are helpful. Do they stop pregnancy? Of course. But they also stop you from menstruating, and that's important.
But you need to cleanse. You need to let that flow.
They also disrupt your gut bacteria. They also disrupt your serotonin and neurotransmitters in your brain. They do things to your body that simply are not healthy.
I knew it. Something told me, so I was on it my whole life, and I was always messed up and just a psycho. Like my hormones were messed up.
She was.
I had trouble dating. I had emotional mood swings. I also had a hard childhood, but that's not why. I'm a sound mind. Like, why am I go crazy every once in a while? Well, finally, I got into my 30s and I said, I'm getting off whatever this thing is to see if it works. I was gaining weight. All this crap was happening. And then I would get skinny, gain weight, all this other crap. So I got off of it because I thought to myself innately, this can't be, after I got older and I started educating myself on taking pills, because I don't like to take pills. And I was like, this can't be good. I've been taking it, because I heard it causes, when I heard it caused uterine cancer, some of them may cause like ovarian issues,
Yep.
that I should get off of it. I got off it, and to this day, I am petrified that if one day, because I was on it till I was in my 30s, something's gonna happen to me. Right now, I'm still like, oh shit, like.
I mean, listen, here's my perspective. I don't think God made a mistake when he made us. And
You're supposed to bleed.
And when we hear about things like the number one killer in the United States is cardiovascular disease or diabetes,
Right.
or other chronic illnesses, that's on us. We've been poisoning ourselves for generations.
Yeah, all these
and we're seeing it.
medications.
About 60% of our population in the United States has at least one chronic illness. 40% has 2 or more chronic illnesses. So despite the fact that statins, for example, those are the medications that lower cholesterol, Lipitor, Crestor, and others, they were first invented around 1986. This is 3 decades ago. Despite the fact that statins have now reached a $1 trillion level, follow the money, cardiovascular disease is the number one killer in the United States.
We're killing ourselves.
Yeah, it hasn't helped at all.
So maybe, just maybe, the cholesterol myth is BS.
It's bullshit.
And maybe there's something else and it's not statins and it's not cholesterol. So what is it if it's not cholesterol? Well, it's inflammation and metabolic dysfunction because we eat like crap in the United States.
Well, and the food is full of hormones too, right?
It's full of hormones,
And antibiotics. And
seed oils, preservatives, artificial flavors, food dyes. We are killing ourselves by the foods that we eat. And it shows.
Wow.
If you go to South Coast Plaza or any mall and just stand and look, you see one unhealthy person after another walk by. 30% of our kids right now are diagnosed as obesity. Why is ADD and other chronic illnesses in our kids and allergies and peanut allergies and so forth, why is it skyrocketing?
Where do they all come from? Like allergies to everything.
Yeah.
Where is the CDC investigating these things? Why do we have such chronic illness in this country?
Because they can create another drug to solve the next problem.
100%. We don't need to go to war to destroy the United States.
We're doing it ourselves.
We are doing it ourselves. We are poisoning ourselves day to day in the water that we drink, in the food that we eat. I would never drink government tap water, for example.
I filtered my whole house, by the way, when I bought the house. So you
Excellent.
can actually drink
Thank you.
this. It's
I will.
Kangen.
Perfect.
I know my dog was getting sick from the water in my other house. And I said, when I move, I don't want my dog, I want to give him the best water possible. And the whole house is filtered. It cost a fortune, but I was like, you know what?
Worth it.
I want to be healthy. I want to be able to drink water.
Standard tap water contains fluoride, contains
Wait,
chlorine.
what is fluoride? Okay, now that you're here, I'm gonna pick your brain. What does
do it.
fluoride do? I heard it was just terrible for you.
Well, around the margins, it may help prevent cavities, but the problem is fluoride is also a neurotoxin.
Okay,
It is
that's what I was told.
It is poisonous. There is no reason to be putting fluoride in our water. We should not be putting fluoride in our mouth in the form of toothpaste. Now, topical fluoride, not nearly as bad, but when you take a little kid and you put fluoride in their toothpaste, of course they're going to swallow the Flintstone toothpaste
Flavored
or whatever,
bubblegum.
or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So I got non-fluoride for my daughter until she was
you can
old
buy
enough
non-fluoride.
You can.
Yeah.
And the ability for it to actually improve tooth care is marginal. There are far better ways to prevent tooth decay than putting fluoride in
Don't
it.
eat sugar. Sugar is a killer, isn't it?
100%. And
Brush your teeth.
And the next level is, what about the stuff we put under our arms to prevent ourselves from
I stopped
sweating?
using deodorant because I heard that I'm poisoning myself, and I heard that you're getting like poison bras from China. They're actually
100%.
putting like chemicals in the bras, and their glands
Yep.
absorb these poisons, and I was getting sick from these underwire bras. I stopped wearing them, and I stopped getting rashes. I was like, oh, there's got to be some truth to that.
The aluminum in the antiperspirants that we put under our arms, same thing. We're poisoning ourselves. Now, we can't perfectly detox our lives, but the more we can, the better off we'll be.
We should just jump in the ocean and swim with the fish and be like,
We should.
Because
We
now
should.
we can't even eat fish. There's aluminum in that too, right?
Well, I don't know about aluminum,
mercury,
but
right?
Mercury, sorry, not aluminum.
mercury and PCBs and so forth. We need to be careful.
Yeah.
We need to read. We need to follow people that know what they're doing. We need to master our own health. We need to understand how to take care of ourselves. If we can learn how to take care of ourselves, we'll dramatically reduce the incidence of chronic disease. If we just did a couple things, drank purified water only, went outside and got sunshine on a daily basis.
I'm doing that 5 minutes a day. Ask Andrew. I literally sat out there and just went, I need my 5 minutes.
With no sunscreen and no
No,
sunglasses.
I don't wear sunscreen. I heard it caused cancer.
And then spend time in nature. If everybody did just those three things, we could dramatically reduce chronic illness.
Well, we just interviewed some surfers, and we were, they're trying to get them off the beach. They're closing the beach for football now, and I guess Laguna, you can't have frisbees, you can't have footballs. They're trying to get the surfers out of the ocean, and they're like, we're the only people doing outdoor sports. And now you're trying to tell us we can't.
They want you inside, unhealthy, and just vote for them.
Exactly. Well, there's plenty of people that are unhealthy, unfortunately.
But wait, isn't
Yeah.
that communism? We're not doing this.
No, that's socialism. But yeah.
Socialism. Okay, I'm obviously not very political.
No, thank you.
I'm sorry.
So when are you running for office?
I'm telling you right now, Barke, when we get censored, it's going to be the best moment of my life.
Daily Logic Check.
No, so all of this education. Okay, you just wrote a book.
I did.
Can you explain your book? Because is it going to educate my audience like you're educating us now? Because this is only a 1 hour interview, and there's so much more I want to pick your brain
hope so.
with.
The book is called Morning Message.
Yeah, right behind you. Okay.
Dispelling the myths you've been told about optimal health.
Okay.
It's a book of...
Why did you write it? Just because you are who you are?
No,
obviously.
for fun. I've been spending a lot of time on Instagram.
Okay.
With Instagram Canva posts and Reels. And I've been putting so much information together that I decided to put it together in a book.
Why not share it?
And I'm
Yeah.
really proud of it. And so it's just a book of little memes and little pearls. It's not like a narrative book that you read from front to back. You can just flip through it. There are religious quotes, there are spiritual messages, and then of course there are messages about optimal health. My dear friend Kirk Cameron wrote a foreword to the book.
Yeah, I saw that on your Instagram. Yeah.
Joe Ladapo, who is the Surgeon General of Florida, he wrote a foreword.
That's great.
And then Will Witt, formerly of PragerU, he wrote a foreword as well. So I think it's a lot of fun. You can get it on Amazon, of course.
Oh, so it's on Amazon.
Or directly from morningmessage.com, and you can bypass Amazon.
How'd you get that URL?
I had to pay for it.
Oh, what was that, $2,500?
Yeah, it was about that actually.
Yeah, Tony, yeah.
But I knew I was writing a book with that name, and I wanted to make sure somebody didn't take that and point it in some weird direction. So for example, during COVID, when I was really outspoken, I decided to look at the URL for my name and go do this. jeffbarke.com. It pointed to a donation site for Planned Parenthood. And then and then it pointed to a donation site for Black Lives Matter.
Wow.
So someone bought it and then just tried to...
I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I guess that's the ultimate in, whatever.
Well, that's why I did a daily logic check. Before I even announced it on Instagram, I bought every single intellectual property piece of platform I could find, because you know for a fact they're going to forward it. I actually own my ex-husband's name. I thought about forwarding it to like a porn site. Just kidding. You're like, oh, let me see. Just kidding.
So I wrote the book Morning Message. I'm really proud of it. There's a hard copy signed edition that's available on Amazon as well.
Wait, do we get a copy?
Sure,
okay.
Absolutely.
And then what is this other, with this, is this coffee?
It is. I partnered with...
Because we love coffee. Well,
I
Andy
love
doesn't.
coffee, and I
coffee.
think it's so important that you only drink organic coffee. Coffee is one of the most heavily sprayed crops in the country, in the world.
Really? Wait. Coffee is heavily, I know we're running out of time, but...
Heavily sprayed with
what?
With pesticides. So if you're not drinking organic coffee, you're getting pesticides, glyphosates and the like.
Starbucks
Also,
has pesticides?
I'm not going to rag on Starbucks, but any organization that does not sell organic coffee, you're running that risk. So I partnered with True Brew Coffee in Orange. They're a coffee shop and a coffee roaster. And we came up with Freedom Blend RX for Liberty, 100% organic coffee.
Can I see it?
And
I love your packaging. You're like, America.
And smell it. And then, so we've got a little bio about why I did it.
That
We've got a
is
Benjamin
so
Franklin
cool.
quote. And then super proud on the bottom is my favorite Bible passage as well.
Let me read it real quick. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6.
So I think
amazing.
the coffee is fantastic, but I think it's worth buying just for the package.
Wow.
Because I think
No,
the
I love
packaging
it.
is
This
fantastic.
is great, Andrew. It matches your shirt. I need to get a picture of you with like,
America.
I got these boots for you today. Like
know,
my
I love 'em.
kickers. These boots are made for walking. I knew you were coming on, so I'm like, America. I got my red, white, and blue. I didn't know if the pearl white was good, And Andrew brought a shirt for you. So
I love it.
America.
I really believe in health, and I believe in optimizing your health by education. And you've always been there for me, optimizing my health. When I asked you, I was going through a lot with my divorce and a lot of stress, and I don't normally have anxiety attacks ever. So when I was having weird moments, like, you didn't want to prescribe me anything. You were like, nope. Have you gone outside? Have you stood up? Are you in bed right now? Have you?
Are you exercising?
Are you exercising?
Are you eating clean?
Are you eating? What
are you avoiding alcohol?
Have you avoiding alcohol? Have you phoned a friend? And I was like, none of the above. And so he's like, try those first. So I really had, for me, knowing that a doctor's not just going to write something, gave me hope that, okay, so there is somebody out there that's here for my health. And I just want my audience to understand there are physicians out there like you. There are other alternatives to taking that medication, to taking, something, just a pill to solve that problem. And I'm a testament to not taking those pills, to not taking that problem. However, I did try Ozempic and I did try the Manjaro route, even though I barfed the whole time. I did lose 10 pounds at first, but then, you can't take that forever. You really got to do it yourself. And
I'll tell you, Novo Nordisk would like you to take it forever. They're now positioning themselves for this to be a chronic medication, like if you have high blood pressure, like if you have a heart disease, like if you have diabetes.
Ozempic?
They want Ozempic and Manjaro and the others to be a forever medication.
What?
Yep.
I was literally thinking if I start gaining weight, I was going to try Manjaro again.
Yeah, and why do you think? Because
they don't want you to stop. They want you to be on it forever.
Yeah, it's $1,000 a month.
That's right.
Insurance won't cover it.
No, insurance doesn't cover it, and they are on the gravy train. Novo Nordisk out of Sweden is now one of the wealthiest countries in the world as a result of their product.
Are you kidding?
Yep.
So wait a second. So I thought Oprah was coming out saying how great it. Oh, she's getting paid.
I don't know if she's getting paid or not, but I think you should have informed consent with any of these weight loss medications and make sure you understand what you're getting into.
So I guess just don't eat.
That's exercise. Don't eat such bad food.
Yeah. So okay. So I have
So no more
97% women
McDonald's?
on my. Yeah. I actually just gave up McDonald's when I found out what they're doing to their meat. I never educated myself regarding fast food, and I love me a fast food burger every once in a while.
I understand.
It just, I don't know why, on PMS, I have this urge to go get something greasy, but I realized because McDonald's is right down the street, it was easy to stop, get a fish fillet, 2 cheeseburgers, French fries, and a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
That was my PMS medicine.
Toxic.
I did not realize, but I felt like shit for 2 weeks after. Every time, and I never really recovered, and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the reasons why I created my Instagram account is I'm limited with the number of patients I can take care of in my actual practice, and I wanted to be able to reach a much broader audience, and I'm able to do so on Instagram. Almost every morning I record a morning message,
Yeah, I watch it. I love
90-second reel, something about holistic health.
Yeah.
I've got a subscriber site on Instagram if they want to get a bit more personal with me. I have a holistic health coach on my subscriber side that also answers questions about holistic
Also,
health.
we can subscribe to your Instagram?
Yep.
Wait, so I don't have to come see you all the time? I could just be like, click and get the, can I write them? I need to know what's wrong with my big
listen,
toe.
you've got my cell phone number.
Yeah,
I know where you
you're
live.
You're one up on all those guys.
That's
and everybody on Instagram.
No, do you still have those jerky sticks that are in there? I go
do.
in there and he's got these, I love snacks.
From Paleo Valley.
Paleo, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you explain paleo? Why do I like them? What is paleo?
Well, Paleo Valley is a company, and they
Okay,
make some wonderful products. They make bars. They make beef sticks that are
Andrew,
that are
they're-
delicious, grass-fed, organic, hormone-free, vaccine-free, antibiotic-free. So they're one of my favorite companies from a snack standpoint. So we used to just have garbage, that we
Yeah, you
give
have
out
like
to patients.
Nature's Valley sugar
Right.
bar. It's like,
So, I said, listen, we need to practice what we preach.
Yeah.
And if I'm not going to eat it myself or recommend it to my patient, I don't want it sitting out in the front. So now we have only healthy snacks.
I
cool.
sneak
That's-
it when they're not looking. I
We've
like
got
take my
Freedom.
purse.
We've got Freedom Blend coffee that we
So
serve our
I was
patients
gonna say,
as
is
well.
your coffee now? Because you got a coffee machine in
absolutely.
there. It's VIP. You walk in, you're like, I'm definitely in Barke's office right now. But when we first moved to that new office, it was funny. There was only like a chair. Your front desk, she was so sweet. She's like, oh, we have furniture coming. Because I was like,
What?
where are we? Like, am I going to get shoved in a room in the back? And the people that draw your blood are so patient because I cannot deal with needles.
Right.
And she talks to me like a child. She's like trying to find my vein. She's like, oh, so tell me about your boyfriend. I'm like, do you want me to draw on something like a crayon or anything?
Just trying to distract you.
Yeah, no, I really respect it and admire who you are. And I know that you're very opinionated. And I love what you said. How do you say it again? You're not anti-vax, you're
I am pro-informed consent.
pro-informed consent.
Yep. I'm not going to tell somebody to get a vax or not get a vax.
Yeah.
I'm going to educate them about the product directly from the package insert.
Yeah, because Andrew and I aren't anti-vax. We were vaccinated. So it's kind of like at some point. So what is a good vax, what's not? So if you could educate what's in that vaccine, and I, as a consumer, can make that educated decision to take it or not, that's how it should be.
That's what all doctors and all pharmacies should be doing.
Supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be anyways, right?
Yeah, it's weird that's how we still think it is, but they've subtly changed it and didn't inform us that the whole system is now different than it used to be.
Too much money is involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's too much money.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, and I don't think it's ever going to change. So you really have to take your
It
health
will
into your own hands.
if everybody keeps talking and not being okay with it, it has to change.
Okay, and then, I know we're running out of time, but there's another country that the countries don't even accept the food, the yellow number. What? Okay, why are we able to eat it, but no other countries?
There are many European countries that have banned things that are still used in our food products.
Like Skittles,
here.
for instance.
Like Skittles,
Why
for instance.
are we allowed to eat it? Or here, eat this. But every country's like, forget it. We do not want
We
that
are
in
the
our.
great capitalistic market. where food companies and pharmacies and vaccine
It's
companies
too bad.
come to make a profit. There's not a sport event that on TV these days where there isn't a pharma ad or 2 or 3, something about a vaccine, something about a drug to treat a condition that they try to convince you that you have. And we're the only country, us and New Zealand, that allow direct-to-consumer advertising by the pharma industry. I think that should end.
Daily Logic Check.
So on our show, Andrew and I love to give back as well, like you do with your patients. Is there a charity of choice that you have in mind? We donate $1,000 to a charity of your choice.
Wow, well, that's a great question. One charity that I do like is Children's Health Defense.
Okay.
So Children's Health Defense is an organization that was started by Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Okay.
And I think he is spot on the vaccine issues, and I think he is spot on the 3-letter agencies. Of course, he's running for president. I don't think he's going to win, but I think he's making an impact. And I think hopefully whoever does win will appoint him to oversee some of these agencies.
Well, we hope our $1,000 makes an impact to somebody.
Yeah.
And
well,
that's
thank
what
you.
our hope is.
That's sweet of you.
We also give a little gift to our, and this one's funny. Normally I give this fancy jewelry, but to you it was something special. I literally ordered this specifically for you. I have a little shirt and a hat, but there's something else in here that I want, it's heavy, that I ordered for you that I thought you could use in your office if anything were to come awry.
Oh, boy.
Or if you had a rogue patient.
Oh, I love it.
It's a fire extinguisher with a panic button.
it. That is awesome.
So if you've got any crazy people, you just push that button and squirt them, Dr. Barke.
That is very creative of you.
Thank you.
And I will wear this proudly.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm absolutely proud. I got to take a photo. Can I see your panic button? This is hilarious. Look at that. Well, thank you for being here. You're awesome, Dr. Barke. We can't thank you enough for sharing your knowledge and your information and your insight. I know that everybody in Orange County is so excited to see this interview. We were nervous because, you know, this is a lifestyle podcast. You know, we've got housewives and friends and family and surfers, and then we're like, and Dr. Barke.
Well, I was nervous coming here.
Well, I also, you know, our podcast is Daily Logic Check. It's the logic behind healthcare. And
This is pretty logical.
this is extremely logical.
Hey,
You're the most
do your
logical
research.
interview we've ever had.
Make your
so.
informed consent and do your research.
Come follow me on Instagram, RX for Liberty.
Yeah, RX for Liberty. Yeah.
RX for FOR Liberty.
Yeah.
And listen, if you live in the greater Orange County area and you're interested in concierge medicine, personal concierge physicians, give us a call.
Okay. Well, I already did. So peace, love, and happiness. Thanks for coming by.
Awesome. Great to be with you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you,
Great
Dr.
to be here.
Barke.
Daily Logic Check.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Daily Logic Check. I'm Elizabeth Vargas, your host, with my co-host, Andrew Vargas. If you like what you saw, you like what you see, click like, subscribe, follow us, and support us on Patreon. Peace, love, and happiness.